GearNetwork.com.
This is a Gear Network production.
Coming to you live from Rochester, New York, this is the FTW Podcast with John Cimino and Brandon Gorell. And now, here's John.
And hello, everybody. Here we are. The FTW Podcast is on the air, ladies and gentlemen.
2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row. Imagine that. You know, there was one season we went every single week. We gotta get back to that.
First season, wasn't it?
Second season we went the full week, the full season. But anyways, you heard him. That is Mr. Brandon Gorell, and I am the JC Buddy, John Cimino.
JC Buddy?
No, money.
You got a little bit of a cold going there?
As in things that I don't have. Money. Right? But you can help me get money if you use shopgear.com for your holiday purchases, or if you don't want to go to Amazon and you don't want to go shopgear.com, right next to it on the gearnetwork.com site is a PayPal button. You can click PayPal and you can donate in any denomination. I will happily take that. And it's a quick and easy transfer, 25 cents too. Dope. How you doing? All right. Well, here we are, Brandon, and finally, the Le'Veon Bell situation has come to an end. Le'Veon Bell will not be returning to the Pittsburgh Steelers. He did not sign his tender in time. John Connor practicing in full. He's still in concussion protocol, but it's possible he is going to be playing this game here. But the big story, Le'Veon Bell, no longer a Steeler. Now, if they wanted to, the Pittsburgh Steelers could franchise him again.
Which is complete bullshit.
I don't think they're going to do this. I think they're done. I think they realize, their system is good with regards to running back, and Connor has done. He's not Le'Veon Bell, but he's been a damn good substitute for them. They've been able to work around that, and they've been able to rebound off of that. Off of the slow start that they had. So, Brandon, the question I have for you, and we're of course speaking in hypotheticals. None of us are, exact experts that are there on the scene. But where is Le'Veon Bell going to play next year? Do you think?
My guess. Jets, Jets.
You think he's going there?
You guys have a shit ton of money to spend.
Yeah, well, so do the Bills, but
but they've got LaShawn McCoy.
Right.
They have to do something with him.
You don't think you'd go to some place like Cincinnati? Try and stick it to the Steelers twice a year?
Because Joe Mixon's there.
All right.
And Gio Bernard. The Cincinnati Bengals don't need him.
Okay.
So Cleveland doesn't need him because they got Chubb.
Mm-hmm.
The Ravens, maybe. I think he's going to go where he can get paid. And that's the most logical place.
So you think the Jets are going to back up the Brinks truck to bring him in?
It's not going to be a Brinks truck. He's still a running back. He's not going to get quarterback or wide receiver money, but it's going to be good. It's going to be a good chunk of change.
All right. Well, I mean, not for nothing. He did tweet that he would never play for the Jets a couple of years ago, but then again, Carlos Hyde also tweeted that he didn't want to play. He didn't want to play for the Browns either, and then he got traded there. And he's not there anymore. But that's neither here nor there.
He's just not injured reserve.
Is he on injured reserve?
Yeah.
I thought he got. Yeah. I thought who from there got traded to Jacksonville?
Jacksonville?
Yeah, somebody. One of the Browns running backs got traded to Jacksonville a few weeks back. I'm pretty sure it was Carlos Hyde because that made the.
I thought he was injured.
Yeah, I'll bring up the injuries.
I'm bringing up the Browns right now.
But with that being said, it's being reported that as well, Le'Veon Bell is avoiding text messages from Ben Roethlisberger. His teammates raided his locker room and got rid of all his crap. I mean, it's really bad with those two sides now.
Yeah.
But that said, with a year off, do you believe that this is going to help or hurt Le'Veon Bell being off for a year because he's not taking reps? He's presumably keeping himself in somewhat workable shape, but there's a difference between keeping yourself in football shape by yourself and being with the team and practicing with the team. How effective do you think Le'Veon Bell is going to be a year away from the league with whatever new team he winds up with?
Oh, he's going to be fine.
Think so?
Yeah, he's going to be totally fine. I was wrong. He is in Jacksonville. You were right. No, he's going to be fine. It's a running back. He's going to go in. It's like going in as a free agent. You're going into a new team. You're going to learn the playbook, and you're going to learn the protections, and you're still going to be fine. Think of it this way. If you got a quarterback who gets injured week 1, like Tom Brady did, say, for instance, he got injured that 1 year, missed the whole season. Did it hurt him coming back next year? No, it didn't. This, if anything, it helps him. He has a less year to take a beating. He's got more miles still on those tires. If you keep your car parked in the garage for a year, it's still going to run next year. And it's going to run you're not going to have that wear and tear on the tires. You're not going to need new tires, new brakes, new shit like that because it's just been sitting there for a year. He's going to be fine. Running backs is one of the easiest positions to take a year off from, honestly. I mean, you get the ball, you run the ball. You just have to memorize the playbook and the protections. And that stuff is going to be learned in camp. He's going to learn that in, mini camp, wherever he signs. He's going to learn that in preseason, and by regular season, it's not going to be a big deal. I don't see a problem with it. I mean, look, Adrian Peterson, missed a whole season because he was suspended. He came back, he was fine. It's a guy, and Peterson's much older at the time too, so he's going to be fine. I hear a lot of people, especially Steelers fans, saying, "Oh, he's cocky, he's an asshole, good riddance." Well, you know what? Honestly, the guy's looking out for his financial well-being. It's a smart move. I hate the franchise tag. It's basically like legalized slave owning, because you're going to pay them, sure, but you're not allowing them to leave. You're not allowing them to walk away and seek a long-term contract. So you keep slapping a 1-year thing on there because you don't want to commit to them. It's like having a girlfriend who's like, I want to get married. And it's like, well, no, I don't want to marry you. Not right now. And then you just keep kind of dangling the idea that maybe if you just stay with me for this year, then maybe I'll marry you, next year. And then next year comes and goes, you were down a little bit last year. Let me get another year of dating you again. And then, you get 2 years in you and then they're like, I'm moving on from you. And at that time, maybe your prime passes and your window closes. I think Kirk Cousins 2 years ago, before the franchise tag, probably could have got even more money going on the open market.
Probably, yes.
And that franchise tag fucked him because each year Washington was like, well, you can either take this big chunk of money and play here or take a chance somewhere else. The quarterbacks get a lot more than running backs do. I mean, it was $14.5 million. But, I mean, Bell can go somewhere for 16, play there for, a 4-year contract, and make 15, 16 a year. But the difference between doing a 1-year and a 4-year are huge. So if you get hurt in year 1 of that 4-year contract, you're still going to get paid a significant amount of it. If you get hurt during your free agent tender or your franchise tag, you get hurt that year and then you can't ever play again. Guess what? You only got that 1 year. That's all you're going to get insured for. And that's all you're going to get is that 1 year payoff. Ask Earl Thomas. Do you think Earl Thomas regrets not sitting out right now? Earl Thomas came back because he was told, be a team player. Be a team player. And what did being a team player do? Got him injured and he missed the rest of the season. Now he's coming back from a very significant injury and it could severely either limit him or just eliminate him altogether. So Bell's thinking about it in the same way. Like, if I come back and I sign this 14-year deal and I get hurt this year, tear an ACL or have a neck injury, and I can't play football again, I'm going to get the rest of this year's contract and then I'm done.
Exactly.
I get nothing. He wants to get a long-term deal because if he gets 4 years, guess what? He may even get 14.5 for 4 years in each year. which was what the franchise tender, but he's got that guaranteed for 4 years, or just a significant chunk of it is guaranteed if he gets injured.
Right. All right. Well, I mean,
so I'm with it. I understand why people are salty in Pittsburgh and they're like, tough shit. Yeah. But you know what? They don't look at it this way either. Ben got paid.
He did.
Brown got paid.
He did.
So I mean, why didn't he get paid?
It makes sense. I'm totally
he's a douche. He's a douche. Well, guess what? Roethlisberger put out a phony rumor that he was going to be retiring. Right. And all of a sudden he gets an extension, and it's like, oh, I was never going to retire.
Right.
Bullshit.
Exactly.
You leaked it so that they would commit to you, and then you would get another big contract.
Right. Because so, you got to get that last one because he's getting up there in age as well.
Right.
So,
exactly. That's what he did.
But
so
I agree with you. I'm in total agreement.
I hate the franchise tag, and I think it will be significantly looked at, if not dropped altogether. Maybe they do something like, I forget what league it is. Is it basketball or no?
Well, maybe just explain the process. I'll see if it rings a bell.
Basically, it's baseball. So say you have a free agent and he's in a certain years or whatever, and he's not an unrestricted free agent. He's a restricted free agent, and he goes and he puts out his restricted free agent deal, and he goes out and it's hockey. So say you leave, okay, in restricted free agency, and the Tampa Bay Lightning picked him up, and he leaves Pittsburgh, whoever it is. Pittsburgh has the opportunity to match that contract and retain them. They have to match it to keep them. If they don't, that person goes there, but the team gets compensated a draft pick.
Football has that too. It's not often used. But it is
because they use the franchise tag.
Right, exactly.
They need to get rid of the franchise tag and only do that.
Right. Yes. Football does indeed have that. I can't remember the last case that this happened with, but I do recall it happening in football, so it does exist. But yeah, you're right. The franchise tag.
The franchise tag
is there.
Needs to go.
The franchise tag does need to go, and the only reason why the franchise tag, I think, is in place, and the people that get the franchise tag deal with it, is because it's more shut up money up front than It's like, yes, you're staying here, but because we're forcing you to stay here, we have to give you XYZ amount more money. You know what I mean? To kind of balance
for 1 year, though. And
for
that's
1 year,
sucks.
Right.
And you can keep stringing this player along without committing to him long term, and it's garbage because in the converse, you go and you sign a deal with them, and they decide, well, you're not playing very well, and they cut you. Well, guess what? You're not going to get paid. The owner gets to cut you at any time they want, but yet you want to leave, and you're like, no, you can't leave.
Right.
Like, you can't leave because we're going to just slap this little 1 year contract on you, and you have to sign it. Otherwise, you pay nothing, or you don't play. And that's what really is fucked up about it, is like, either sign this boy or don't play. It's basically what it is. Right.
Yep. I agree with you. We'll, I'm sure, touch more on the Le'Veon Bell situation as the season progresses and the off season progresses. And as I'm kind of flipping through the news here, I am seeing, news stories of Jets, the lead contender for Le'Veon Bell. So you know what? I would take him.
He's a great player.
I would take him. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen, because I guess this is a good segue. Let's talk about Bills Jets really quickly. The New York Jets played probably the worst football game I have ever seen out of a team in my entire life. And I have seen 2 0-16 teams in my lifetime. And this team, by far, that took the field. Now, last week, Brandon, I told you that I had a feeling that the defense was going to quit on Bowles. And you said, no, I don't think they're going to do that. They're players, they come to play and blah, 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 blah. And then they go home to MetLife in front of their home crowd against a Buffalo Bills team that, for all intents and purposes, was absolute dog shit all year. Starting their fourth quarterback of the season, whom was on the streets 2 weeks prior. and made him look like the second coming of Jim Kelly that game.
I gotta say, though, I gotta say, just to interject just quickly.
Go ahead.
It seems like every year the Bills come in and slap the shit out of the Jets in MetLife Stadium. No matter who's at quarterback, no matter how bad they are, they still come in there and they do the job on the Jets. They just have the Jets number, I think, more than anything. I think this was a little worse than most, but I recall the Jets and getting their kind of ass handed to them by Buffalo a bit in the last few years.
Well, last year I think they split, and the year before that, but
the loss was at home.
Well, right,
you guys beat them in Buffalo, and they beat you at home.
Well, right, but what I'm saying is I mean, the year before that, the Jets took the season series. They won both games, and then the year before that, they lost. They did lose both games, so it's kind of back and forth, kind of whatever. But this one felt different. And again, I go to the point.
You had a backup quarterback in too.
Yes, we had. That's a whole nother story that I'll touch up on in this rant as well. But I said last week I felt right after that Dolphins game when the defense kept them in the game the entire game, and Bowles said I kind of wish we had a little bit more production out of the defense. And those unnamed sources, those always reliable unnamed sources, said people on the Jets defense were pretty pissed about it and wouldn't be surprised if they quit on the team. Well, the Jets went out there and laid an egg. It was the exact same players playing a lesser team than the Dolphins, quite frankly.
And Dolphins aren't very good.
Well, they're not very good, but they're better than the Bills.
Green Bay has been playing pretty.
I will give them that. I will give them that they are better than the Bills. And I'm a backup quarterback.
Not defensively.
I'm a backup
Buffalo
quarterback.
Has the number one ranked defense in the league. The Bills have the number one ranked defense in the league.
They do have the number one ranked defense in the league. Do they still suck? Their terrible.
Offense sucks, but if they can put any kind of offense on the field, they win. I mean, look what they did against Minnesota. They beat the shit out of Minnesota in Minnesota.
All right,
their defense showed up, hammered them, and then guess what? The offense converted. The defense has kept them in games all year. The offense has been so atrocious that it's not even funny.
Right.
They got competent quarterback play, which is all they needed. They got some kind of semblance of a run game, which is all they needed to do, because that defense is going to take care of business.
Mm-hmm.
And you went in there with McCown, who's been sitting all season, who's been sulking because he thought he was going to be the starter at the start of the year. But
not according
he's there
to
to help.
According to what the announcers were saying in the game. Because what I heard, what they were saying was that McCown flat out said he wasn't expecting to play this year, and in fact, he liked the team, and that was why he came back. But he was seriously contemplating retirement after last year.
No, right after he was, I will pull this article up.
Go right ahead.
Right after he was, that Darnold won the starting job, he said he was.
How dare you question Iron Eagle?
Iron Eagle can go suck a dick. He's not very good. Fuck Iron Eagle. It's Ian. You're not special.
That's what he calls himself, Iron Eagle.
Hold on, I'm Googling. Keep talking.
All right. Well, the Jets pretty much laid an egg, and while Brandon is searching here, I have been following Jets news and blogs and different podcasts and everything, because I'm trying my best to get a hold on what's going on with the Todd Bowles situation, because it was all I was hearing the next day. The next day was, this is the bye week. Bowles isn't going to survive the bye week. Blah blah blah. Well, Todd Bowles is going to remain the New York Jets football coach for the remainder of the season. That was already set in stone. Whether or not they keep him beyond the season, or general manager Mike McCanahan, or whatever his last name is beyond me. I don't know that that's necessarily the best idea to do, is get rid of them both. Bowles does have a bit of a boneheadism when it comes to coaching. He does still make rookie coaching mistakes, but to your point, like last week, if he can get an offensive coordinator that's a that's a good offensive coordinator that can help Sam Darnold, there might be, you let him run the offense and you manage. But, you've got these armchair GMs on Twitter and everything saying, well, hire an offensive minded coach. Look what it's done. Look what it did for LA, and look what it did for this team, and look what it did for that team. So I ask you, Brandon, is an offensive minded coach the way to go in today's NFL?
Yeah, it is. I mean, the teams that are winning now have very creative offenses. The last real defensive coach still has a really amazing offensive coordinator. That's Bill Belichick. Sean Payton, very brilliant offensive mind. Look what well, actually, you know what? There's two coaches. Zimmer is another one. Zimmer in Minnesota is a defensive minded coach.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at the offensive coaches that had successful runs or continuous successful runs, Mike McCarthy, for as much as I hate the guy, he's an offensive coach. They've had success in Green Bay with him at coach. Sean Payton, another one. You got McVay in LA now. You got
and his wife smoking.
You got Andy. Yeah, you got Andy Reid as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got who's the coach of the Chargers right now? God, what the hell's his name?
Anthony Lynn.
Yeah, Anthony Lynn. He is. Was he a defensive guy? I thought he was.
He was the running backs coach for the Buffalo Bills.
He's an offensive guy
2 years ago. He was the Buffalo Bills running backs coach, and then after Rex Ryan got fired, he took over as the head coach.
Yeah. So, a lot of these successful teams have offensive coaches are leading the way. And the game's revolutionizing. It's a very offensive heavy. So if you don't have a creative offense and the talent to go with it, you ain't going anywhere. You can have a great defense, but you need a good offense to go with it. Look at Buffalo.
Right. I mean, the last few head coaches for the Jets,
Look at Jacksonville. That's another one. They have a good defense, but man, that offense is atrocious.
Yeah. The last few Jets head coaches, all defensive minded. Bowles currently right now, Rex Ryan before that, Mangenius before that. He was Belichick's defensive coordinator for a long time. But before that, my man, Herm Mother Edwards, he was very, obviously defensive minded coach. So, if they do get rid of Bowles, that's what they need to do. They need to get rid of Bowles and go in that offensive, just give it a try. Because the last 4 or 5 times you've had a defensive-minded coach, you've made the playoffs and I'm talking about a span of 15 years now, you've made the playoffs about 5 times. And 3 of those times were in the Bush administration. So, I mean, that's saying something.
Yeah. But, I did find the quote, too, by the way.
Okay, go ahead.
It says the 39-year-old said he was personally bummed to sit on the sidelines, but understands that Darnold had earned the job. Obviously, as a competitor, you'd love to play, but I kind of understood which direction it was headed. I'm excited for our team and excited for the future. We're backing it for 100%. That's talking out of both sides of your mouth. Mm-hmm. He wanted to start. He's bummed that he's not starting, but he'll be the corporate guy that go, I'm excited for our team. He's salty. He wanted to win. He re-signed thinking that he was going to win, and let Darnold sit behind him, watch him play, but he didn't. Mm-hmm. But he made $10 million as a backup, so that's why he can be, Mr. Happy for him too.
Right.
I'd be happy playing for $10 million sitting on the bench.
Right. Exactly. I mean, here's the deal. Anybody that watched the game last week knows, if anybody ever questioned why Sam Darnold was anointed the starter, you saw the way Josh McCown played. That's Josh McCown ball. That's what he does. And Darnold has, at the very least, while some people are quick to saying, oh, he's a typical USC quarterback and he's regressing and whatever, it's his rookie year. Peyton Manning had a shitty rookie year. Lots of top quarterbacks have had shitty rookie years. And Darnold, I don't think is having the shittiest of rookie years. Now he's having a lot of turnovers, but again, Peyton Manning's very young.
His first year, and
he's very young. He's new. And he's learning, but the one thing that Darnold does that McCown just did not do is he moves the ball.
Yeah.
There's not as many 3 and outs as there were this past week. Like, it was so goddamn frustrating. Like,
Yeah.
it was so frustrating to the point where all of my Bills fan friends were sending me a text message. By the time I got to like 30-3 in a second, they're like, yeah, okay, I mean, I'm happy that the Bills are winning, but, you know, Jesus, this is kind of awkward. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, man. And it was just like, well, you know, what can you do? What can you do in those things? But, you know, so I'm looking forward to next year as far as that goes, but that's whatever. Anyways.
NBA update. The first day was Jimmy Butler as part of the process. 111-106 losers to the Orlando Magic.
Oh, no. Come on, Philly. Philly.
Meanwhile, the guys that went to Minnesota hitting buzzer beaters and are up 82-75 over the Pelicans right now. So just that update on the NBA.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Very good. New update. Des Bryant. Last week we were talking about throwing up the X for Des Bryant because he signed to. It's
throwing down the knife now.
Yeah, to play at the Saints, and then he goes down with a torn Achilles. Usually, it's those are tough to bounce back from. So before I go into who his replacement is, Brandon, does Des Bryant play again?
Yeah, he'll play again. He's still young. He's still young enough. I mean, Richard Sherman came back this year after torn Achilles too.
Fair argument. So. But the Saints did not go, did not, you know, cry or anything. They went out and they got Brandon Marshall.
I saw that.
So Marshall was released by the Seahawks on October 30th, and he is signed to be Des Bryant's replacement here in Seattle, or excuse me, in New Orleans. Yeah. Marshall, at 34 years old, Brandon, is in his 13th season, playing 178 career games. Not a single one of them has been in the postseason. Should he remain on the team between now and the end of the season, that will change. And you know what? Good for him. I'm glad he at least gets to play in one playoff.
He's washed.
Yeah. Oh, he's definitely washed. He's probably be third.
He doesn't get hurt.
You know what I mean?
He doesn't get hurt.
Yeah. But
he won't play in that playoff game. He'll be on the roster.
He owns the Jets single season receiving.
Coach, I made the rooster.
Very good, very good. The next rookie quarterback possibly starting is Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Right now, Jim Harbaugh, whom many are calling a lame duck coach in Baltimore, is saying is not sure whether Robert Griffin III or Lamar Jackson. If Flacco and Pippen can't happen, and he can't play, RG3 or Lamar Jackson will get the start. I'm betting there will be Lamar Jackson. You might as well. He's clearly your number one. He's your first round draft pick quarterback. He's clearly your quarterback of the future. You're going to be moving on from Harbaugh. You're going to be moving on from Flacco. New regime. You might as well start the kid. What do you think on that?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be stupid to start RG3, but at the same time, if you're trying for a better draft pick and you don't want him to fuck around and win games, then maybe you do sit him. I don't know.
Indeed.
But I think he'll start.
And finally, for the first portion of the podcast here, the NFL moves the Chargers and Steelers in Week 13 and the Rams and Bears in Week 14 to prime time. Flexible scheduling is underway. The 49ers and Seahawks game that was originally scheduled for prime time, shockingly has been moved to 4:25 p.m. on Fox. And the original game was for Week 14 was the Steelers and Raiders, and clearly nobody is going to give a shit about watching that game. So it'll be the Rams and the Bears, Week 14, Sunday night on the National Broadcasting Company. We'll go ahead. No.
I mean, we also forgot to mention the fact that we had to move the Monday night game too.
Oh yes, that's right. That's right. The Monday night game. So the field conditions. The Monday night game was supposed to be in Mexico City. And the field conditions are just atrocious. And there were lots of reports that they were either talking about postponing the game to their respective bye weeks to let them get the field conditions in prime shape. And then there was talks that both the Rams and the Chiefs were collectively talking about protesting the game and not playing flat out.
Yeah.
which would have been incredibly weird. But interesting television, I think it would have been. And instead, of course, the NFL sees this and sees 2 9-1 teams that are really, really good. And that is going to be a really good game. And they're threatening to sit out because of this field. They said, nah, fam, let's move it back to Los Angeles. They're supposed to be the home team anyways.
Can you imagine how much egg would have been on the face of the NFL if they had played that game on that shitty surface to just try to get that Mexican money and have probably the matchup of the year on a shitty field and guys get hurt? Like, can you imagine?
Right.
Fucking Mahomes is scrambling and then he steps in a divot and tears his ACL.
Right. Yeah.
Can you imagine?
You don't want that.
Horrendous.
You don't want that. I have a feeling if it were something like 49ers Raiders, that might be one thing, and they'll just be like, yeah, whatever, fuck you guys. But when you've got two of the marquee teams that are both sitting at 9-1, yeah, you kind of don't want to do that. And you know what? Good for them to move it back to Los Angeles. And I hope that those damn Rams wear those blue and yellows again, because goddamn it, Brandon, I love those uniforms.
I think they just wore them this week, so
they did. I watched that game.
They will. They I think they have to go back to the other one again.
I think they elected to wear them 5 times. They were wearing them 5 times this year out of 8 home games. So hopefully this is one of those home games where they're wearing the blue and yellow. If not, then, well, go Chiefs. But all right. With that, we're going to go ahead into our tiny, tiny little infomercial because I'm lazy and I didn't bring up any obscure product or anything from Amazon. And I don't have Amazon up. So shopgear.com, it is your friend. That is your reminder. All right, Brandon, do me a favor and let's get your Gear Network pick'em up there. And while we're getting our Gear Network pick'em up, I will let all of you know it is rivalry week in fantasy football as my Rochester Royals take on Brandon's BC Sleepers. And I think we play already this season too?
I don't think in this league.
No,
I think in the
I know we played in the other one and I won that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, chances are if you did, you probably did because I'm only got 4 wins this year. So,
oh boy,
6 losses.
All right. So as usual, I'll go down the list of games. I will say, say the teams. You say who you have. If we disagree, we'll talk about it. If we don't, then we'll move forward. Packers, Seahawks. I think we both have the Packers for that one. Cowboys,
yes, sir.
Cowboys, Falcons.
I have the Falcons because they're at home.
Mm-hmm. Ravens, Bengals.
And it's been like how many years since the Cowboys have won consecutive games?
I don't know. Dak and Zeke's first year, I think.
Yeah.
Bengals, Ravens.
Ravens.
Mm-hmm. Panthers, Lions.
Panthers.
Titans, Colts.
Titans.
I've got the Colts.
All right.
I'm going to take the Colts because Andrew Luck's been kind of riding pretty high. The offensive line has not allowed, and now I'm sure because it's been it's mentioned that's probably going to be the first play of the game is going to be a sack to Andrew Luck, but the offensive line has not allowed a sack in 4 straight games, which is pretty goddamn impressive in today's NFL. He's been doing what he's had to do. He's kept the Colts afloat, and they're 4-5 heading home. My good buddy Matt Milan, whose stag party I went to a couple of weeks ago, and whose podcast, The 2 Point Conversation, I appeared on a couple of weeks ago on a different network. He'll be in attendance there. It's going to be a pretty solid game. Reggie Wayne Day, so Peyton Manning's going to be there, and Jeff Saturday and a few of the other guys are going to be there too. So should be fun. But I think the Colts take that one. I think it's going to be.
I mean, even after Tennessee's big wins against Dallas on Sunday night or Monday night, whenever it was, and then beating the Patriots pretty handily last week.
Yep, because this is going to be one of them trap games.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my prediction, of course. Buccaneers, Giants, Brandon.
I have got the Bucks.
I've got the Giants.
All right.
I don't know why, but I do. The Steelers, Jaguars.
Steelers, Jaguars. I have the Steelers.
Mm-hmm. Texans, Redskins.
Texans, Redskins. I have the Texans.
Broncos, Chargers.
Chargers, sorry.
Raiders, Cardinals.
Raiders, Cardinals. I have the Cardinals at home.
Eagles, Saints.
Saints.
Vikings, Bears.
Bears.
Ooh, I have the Vikings.
I have the Bears for selfish reasons. Because Green Bay is basically a game behind Minnesota for second.
Mm-hmm.
And they have that tie with Minnesota, but we have one more game left of them. So if they lose and we win this week, we'll be ahead of them because of the division schedule so far and winning in the division. And that would also give them another division loss. But it would also put us a game and a half behind the Bears. But we've already beat the Bears once this year, too. So I'm thinking of it in Green Bay terms. And plus it's in Minnesota, or not Minnesota, it's in Chicago as well. So that's why I went with it.
All right. Well, I went with the Vikings as well. I went with the Vikings similarly for a selfish reason because I picked up the Vikings defense against you. And
All right.
so I really want them to do well because, I have my core guys, but whatever. Typically, I think I have the Patriots defense typically, and we'll learn a bye. So, and the hardest game to pick for me, Chiefs Rams. We talked about this earlier. I think we both ended up picking the Rams. We didn't have, we had some disagreements, so I'm not going to flip flop on that. But this one was a very, very tough one to pick for me, just because of the offense. It's really. Goff and the Rams offense is really good. Their defense is really, really good too. It's going to boil down to, quite frankly, for me, Kansas City's defense, not the best.
Nope.
They're all offense. So if the Rams lights out defense shuts down Mahomes, it's going to be a blowout. But that was a tough one for me to pick. So. That was Gear Network Pick'em. Oh, by the way, I didn't actually check who's the champion every week. And of course,
we tied last week.
Oh, we tied last week?
Yep. Oh. We both had 8 points.
All right.
The other guy won. Big Steve, he had 9. And the only one still filling it out.
So Steve's the champion every week.
Yep.
Damn you, Steve. Well. Oh well. Anyways, that's all I have as far as football goes, and all that stuff. So bullshit portion time. What's been going on with you, my man? How's your week?
Not much, man. It fucking snowed yesterday. Woke up to a couple inches of snow on the ground. That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, not much going on. I'm going to Double Dare on Friday, which is going to be dope. Going to Double Dare Live Friday. My son's got Orange Belt graduation tomorrow. Yeah, finally moved up to his Orange Belt in karate.
Nice.
That's pretty dope. He's going to join his sister for about a month, and then she's going to move up to Blue Belt, and then I'm going to be back to split classes again and going fucking half my life at the dojo again. That's all right.
Very good, very good. It's funny. It's funny you mentioned the dojo because I was talking with Huber and that I'm actually texting with him now, and he with WWE they were doing like a video on him, like before he was a superstar or whatever, and they were kind of highlighting his rise and what he was breaking down the wall. It's WWE superstar Luke Harper, and they were talking about his humble beginnings, and his beginning was at Samurai Martial Arts at a wrestling promotion there called RCW. It was where he and I actually met, was there because I worked for there too. And it was funny because he brought, they had the WWE cameras and he was there, and they walked in to kind of film Samurai Martial Arts, and Sensei Sawyer, who was the licensed promoter as well for RCW. I know him as Kurt, but Sensei Sawyer was on there, and they kind of interviewed him too. And I looked at that and I'm like, damn, this dude looks exactly the same as he did in 2002 and 2003. like he does not age.
No,
He's like the ageless wonder, and he could still kick the crap out of everybody I know.
oh, he sure could, man. He's good, and he knows a lot of different disciplines too. It's not just karate. He knows judo, he knows kung fu, he knows all that shit, man.
Yeah. He's a good guy. I really like Kurt. So
I think he's doing jiu-jitsu too.
Is he doing what? Like doing it now or doing?
Yeah, he's teaching it.
Wow.
I've seen him doing the jiu-jitsu.
Wow.
So, yeah,
that's cool. I remember, but what was funny was when they were kind of looking around, they had the camera around, and I don't know if it's the area that you is the weight room. Is the weight room still where it was?
Yeah. And the back of the dojo.
Oh yeah,
like by the men's locker room.
Yep. Oh no, it wasn't there. So they must have moved it then. Because it used to be like if you walk in and you look to the left. Uh-huh. There's like a little room. There was like a room there. Like they had their little concession stand area there.
Yeah,
and then
the front counter.
Yeah, the front counter, and then like to the left of that used to be a weight room.
It's now the office.
That's the office now. That used to be the weight room, and a bunch of us guys used to go in there on the day of the shows that they would have there at Samurai Martial Arts, and we would go lift weights there. And it was funny because there was a few people that would kind of just like and by a few people, I mean like Lunchbox, who would go there and kind of like lift 15-pound weights, and he would lift them like super fast and do them like 100 times. And then he'd walk around like he was a fucking meathead. Mm-hmm. And of course, the only thing meaty about him is his meat tits, but there's a lot of good memories there at Samurai Martial Arts. So yeah. Definitely one of these
people, man. It's a family business, and they do a great job over there. I mean, they promote themselves pretty well too, and they get me to buy all the extras and shit like that. I mean, last week they went with a 9th degree black belt in, I forget what discipline it was, but it's a self-defense thing, and he was doing a master class there for like an hour for kids and then an hour for adults. He was from France, and he's pretty funny, and the kids loved him. Like they were super pumped about him, and they enjoyed the shit out of the class and learned some cool stuff too. So, but he hit us up the Tuesday class before it was on a Friday, and he's just like, you guys should go do it. I mean, it'd be really good for him. Sean would get much better. And I was like, well, and then there was like, it's a discount too if you do 2 kids instead of just individual. You send Grace only, and I was like, all right, fine, I'll do it. So they went. They had a fun time, which is fine. But they always hit me up for the extras. Grace is in leadership. She had to get boards to break, which was $75. She had to get a bow. She had to get nunchucks. She had to get commas. So they move up to yellow belt. They got to get sparring gear. So I mean, it's a racket, but whatever.
All right, fair enough. All right, very good. Well, you know what? That's really gonna do it for us this week here.
Yeah, bitches.
Yeah, bitches. Not as long as last week, certainly, but just as fun. We got a lot of sports content in here. None of the political stuff this time.
No, fuck that shit.
Although, Brandon, our political podcast, I can't lie, was a little popular. So definitely got a lot of good feedback. I mean, some negative feedback too, but
I'm sure we did.
I put it out there saying, hey, this is political. Don't listen if you don't like political stuff. And then the funny thing was one of the feedback I got was, well, I don't go to the JC Money Show to listen to politics. I was like, well, what the fuck do you go to JC Money Show? It's my show. I do whatever the fuck I want on that show. You know what I mean?
The disclaimer.
I did give the disclaimer.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Read the disclaimer.
Oh, yeah. Well, that would involve reading. And, with all due respect to my wrestling fans that follow me here, wrestling fans are not necessarily known to be brain surgeons. So, anyways, thanks. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in this week. We do appreciate your likes, your shares, your downloads, and your supporting us by using any of our affiliates on on GearNetwork.com, specifically ShopGear.com. Again, with the holiday season, there's going to be plenty of deals. There's deals aplenty, ladies and gentlemen, coming forth. It's Black Friday sales coming, Cyber Monday's coming. It's the holiday season. you know, so whoop-de-doo and dee-dee-da, or whatever that stupid song says. Go there and buy, spend, help, give me money so that way I could buy and spend and double dip. Yeah, that works. But, Brandon, God damn it, we're doing this in person next week.
Let's see, what's next week?
Next week is
Thanksgiving week. Nope.
Next week is Thanksgiving week, so
You ain't doing shit in person.
maybe not. Motherfucker. But anyways, well, we'll do this some way, shape, or form. We will be on the air, all up in your ear holes. Mr. Brandon Gorell, good day to you, sir.
As you as well, sir.
So long, everybody. Good night now. AAF is coming soon. Woo!
All the lovelies in the house, let's play, baby. Dig it. L.A., California, a city of angels. Hollywood, yeah, baby. I wanna get freaky with you. Don't you wanna get freaky too? I wanna get freaky with you. Don't you wanna get freaky too?
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.